Okay. Welcome. Good morning, everybody. I want to start today's call with a quick prayer to my brother who's sitting in the hospital right now. So, yeah, let's start with our eyes closed. If you're not driving and you're in a safe place, you can close your eyes and take a couple deep breaths in. With every breath in, just experience your body. Bring your awareness to exactly where you are. And recognize today that peace is what I want. That all sickness and illness of the body comes from me desiring something else. And honestly look within your mind. What is it that I've placed in front of peace? What idle thoughts, idle wishes? Look for places where you lose your peace, where you feel triggered, where it causes stress, anxiety, or uncertainty. And as you search for those things in the back of your mind, begin to bring to the front whatever color love represents for you. Maybe it's just red, maybe it's a heart or shape. Allow it to come from the back of your mind. Take over all those idle wishes and idle thoughts. All the false idols. Recognizing and remembering that love is all encompassing. That there's no need to judge any of these thoughts. Simply give it over to love. Gracefully let go of all the idle wishes. Forgive yourself and forgive others. And as your mind begins to fill with this color of love and the shape of love, feel your body heal. Feel the room around you heal. Feel all your relationships heal. Feel a world healing. This energy, this frequency of love extending from the back of your mind to the entire world. That may our recognition and remembering of love today heal not only our bodies, not only our relationships, but bring right the entire universe. And so it is. Amen. I hope. Okay. And come back to this call. Come back to where we are now. Welcome. Good morning. Good morning. Almost July 4th is July 4th weekend. Independence Day. It's interesting that we celebrate Independence Day on a day of revolution. And I think let's call it, I've been labeling it all morning, Inner Independence Day. How do we find independence? Freedom in our minds. And today is actually, well, Independence Day. It's interesting because Independence Day in the course, if you started on January 1st on your lessons, lesson 185 actually lands on Independence Day. Is it 185? Wait, 1 second. I believe it's 185. Yes. Lesson 185 lands on there. And one of the great practices of today is to search your mind. And I did it this morning, is to search your mind. And we actually kind of did it together for all the wishes that we've placed in front of peace. We all want peace. And that's the universal truth. The universal truth is that every single person wants peace. Everyone wants peace, even though they may not be seemingly showing that right now. Right? In this moment, you may want you may want things to go a certain way. Instead of peace, children want the cereal that they want, or they'll throw a tantrum. And the only difference between a tantrum that children throw and that we throw is that we've somehow made it a little more sophisticated. We've sophisticated the way in which we cover our tantrums. Right? We've justified it. We made it look a little bit better. But it's all the same. That same losing of your peace, throwing it away, giving it away. And today the course actually asks us that every single hour you put an alarm on your phone. Every top of the hour, or you can set it for every hour. You take literally 2 seconds. Take 2 seconds and thank the gifts for the past hour and ask for the guidance in the next hour. It takes 2 seconds. You just ask for that. And then you go on with whatever you're doing. And then you set your alarm for another hour. And then in the next hour, ask again. Please guide me in the next hour. And then thank you for the gifts of the last hour. It's a constant interruption. Yeah. I wear these shirts all the time, Jen. And the course says that no one can mean it and not immediately have it. It's so interesting because we say we want peace, but we don't truly mean it. All we have to do is look at who triggers us. Who's the person in my life that triggers me? We all got it. Right? They can say they press your button with just one word, can trigger you. So then you don't really mean it because you still want to hold it against somebody. To accept it fully, to accept peace of mind fully, if you truly want it, you have to accept it for everyone. That means the person that you're pissed off at, that you hold grievance against, whatever stories you make up of somebody, if you truly want peace, you must accept it for this person as well. It must be true for everyone, that you recognize no matter what the fight looks like or what the stuff looks like, that underneath it all, we all want peace. And if I want peace, I have to open my heart to this other person. Otherwise, I will never have it. And the way we open our hearts is to recognize whatever this person is saying or doing, they want peace underneath, just like me. That's the universal truth. And in that moment, you may recognize that there is something else that you want. You want to value some thought. You want to value insecurity. You want to value being right about something over peace. And so this universal longing, okay, this universal longing of every single heart, we must join ourselves with that. If we truly want peace, if we truly want to accept it and have peace in our hearts, got to bring it for everyone. Even when people are unaware of it themselves. You hold the space. You remember it for them. It's not peace. It's not just peace for them. It's really just peace for you. There is no you and them. And on this call, as we're sharing, if thoughts come to you, you want to uncover any competing desires for peace. What have you put on the altar that doesn't belong there? Like, what is it that you think you desire that will give you peace? See, that's what we want to look at. If this went this way, if she apologized, if he stops being selfish, if, all those things that we make up, we've put those things in front of peace, and we forgot that it is peace that we want. People need not do anything. Everyone will wake up at some point. Everyone is coming to waking up from the dream, from waking up from all the illusions. Time is not horizontal in eternity. Only in our lives is time horizontal. Time is more like vertical in eternity. Things happen tomorrow, things happen yesterday, and they stack on top of each other like it happened at the same time. And if we can begin to free our minds from the construct of time, even if we remember it just here and there, that when there is a cause, when I do something, if I think peace, peace is coming no matter what. So then it's vertical. In this moment, I recognize peace is coming, so peace shows up. And maybe the event happens down the road a little bit, but that's in time. It's not in order because it happens at the same time. And it's not in order of time, but in the construct of what we have time, it looks like we do something now, and then something gets returned later. But in our mind, if we collapse time and there's no more time, that means we do it now. Whatever is coming later, the belief that the whatever is coming later brings peace now. And one of the lines that I love about the Course that speaks into that is infinite patience brings immediate peace. Infinite patience. That means I'm going to be patient with myself. I'm going to be patient with others to eternity. There is no time where I will not be patient. Infinite patience brings immediate peace. The knowing that I can handle, the knowing that I have the capacity to be infinitely patient will bring me peace in this moment, whatever the situation looks like. So again, today's theme to bring inner independence is that our mind, none of us can have peace alone. Okay, you will not have peace if you have conflict or grievance with someone or something. So if you want to have peace, you must join it with others. You must open your hearts and let others in, especially those that we hold grievances for. And it doesn't have to be right now in this moment. You may still have your stories. You may still have all the challenges, all the all the being right about this other person. But just know that your desire for peace, once that is greater than you wanting to be right, then so it is, and it will be. It's not going to happen. Maybe it doesn't happen immediately. But again, it's happened. The desire to want it is automatically going to bring it. True desire. And it will collapse time, and it's going to happen vertically. It happened already. And when you truly, truly want it in this moment, you'll have it. So whoever those people are that challenge you the most, well, you got to let them into your heart today. So, yeah, we want to, today is lesson 185. It's actually, I want the peace of God. And you can call it, that could be freedom. Okay, so let's open it up for any questions, any thoughts. Hey Jen, it's so good to see you. What are you saying no to? She's like, no, I don't want peace. No, I know she does. Okay, so what are you guys hearing? What are you guys thinking? What's anyone want to share anything today, this morning?
Yeah, Alex, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi everyone, this is Galia. So I'm studying this thing, the Schumann resonance, I think the thing called. I think few people mentioned it here as well in the group. And I was reading today and actually like it says this new 5D um what how they call it 5D dimension, that supposedly we're entering and practicing that it's downloaded constantly for us, and Schumann resonance is just showing us which days we're having what kind of downloads and how deep they are. But one thought that I pick up from there is that that's this thing that you're doing here, like the teachings that you helping us understand. It's actually what it says. This is a 5D um, dimension that everybody's talking about, everybody's so afraid about, because this is what happens, like us realizing that we all one, and that we see no separation, and that we carry the love, unconditional love for everything and everyone in our life, no matter what. And it's just so powerful because the lady even was explaining, she said, if you feel that you're lost in your path in life, it's not so, because just your presence on this earth and your work on yourself, or you realizing day after day, trying different tools to get closer to, as you always say, going home, holding each other hands.
Mm-hmm.
That's the 5D. There's nothing really else. And that was like such a relief and such an opening for me, because it's like, that's it. Because sometimes when people start to talk so smartly about this 5D thing, it's like, it scares me. I'm like, oh my God, what is going to be? If one morning I'm going to wake up as an alien or something, or have aliens around me walking and be like, hey, so you going to 5D or not? I don't know. I feel like my mind is just creating, stories. And that was just beautiful for me to notice that everything just related and interconnected, and no matter what practices we do, that's the main practice that we're going to come to, the things that you're sharing here with us on the call.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to share that.
Yeah, thanks. Like all of us, all true wisdom and the truth that's been passed down from from the beginning of time, from the Knights Templar to wherever, all of the information that's passed down, the one that always remains hidden, or that's underneath all the messages, is the recognition of oneness. And no matter what new science, what new idea, new thought comes out, it's really interesting to us when we recognize, whoa, look at the interconnectedness. Look at how everything's connected. Right? One of the most interesting documentaries I watched was on fungus and mushrooms. That it's in colonies on the surface, you see them, but underneath it's all connected. It's one system that connects the entire colony, and it can go for miles. And what information is pulled from one is connected to all. This is why people oftentimes when they have the experience with mushrooms, they connect to this oneness. That when we actually connect with oneness, like, there is no worries. There's only confidence. It's only confidence and trust in that everything's going to be okay. All the problems that we have set in front of us, all the problems that we've stressed about, it goes away. It diminishes to almost nothing in the presence of that oneness. And that's why sometimes, I was working with somebody this week. They're going through a lot. But, she's like, at church, I feel like all my problems are gone. And when I go, but then as soon as I leave, all of a sudden, all the problems hit my face again. So remember last week maybe we didn't end it with it, but we ended somewhere around, we talked about we don't seek for the answer, but we seek for the channel in which the answers come, to clear that channel. And that's the only thing we can really ask for and the way we clear that channel is through a conversation. It's through the conversation, not with like our lower self, our lower frequency self, which is the ego, because that's what we do. We have conversations in our mind with ourselves. There's no channel connecting to a greater source. It's like a mushroom being independent and not connected to the rest of it. Of course, it's going to feel alone, and everything's going to be scary, and nobody's got its back, and all that, right? But when you can connect the channel, when the fungi are able to connect to the entire source, it recognizes the power, and that there is no independent problems. And this is why the Course encourages us to use other people as tools for healing, as mirrors. That the only way that we can truly have peace is to let other people into our hearts. That we must want peace for them. If we want peace for ourselves, we must want peace for others. And we have to truly want it. That means you have to let go of any other stories and things that you held about other people. Right? I mean, we're just good at masking and hiding, making our tantrums sophisticated because we've justified it. Right? Last week we talked about how the thought comes, a thought of separation comes, then we entertain it. So pretend we are like the one mushroom, okay? You're connected to the entire web, the entire system for miles, right? Everything's connected. That means you feel very safe. There's nothing that's out to get me. There's no other mushrooms out to get me. No other mushrooms are dangerous to me because we're all connected through this web. But as soon as the thought that comes, that's like, what if I'm different and separate from that mushroom? Right? And now you're comparing sizes, you're comparing the way you look, and then all the insecurity comes, and then you bully other mushrooms. So funny that the metaphor that comes up on these calls. So the thought comes that somehow I could be separate. And then you entertain the thought, maybe it works. You examine it. And then you go and tell other people. And see, this is how it spreads from the word. The word is how it spreads, how ideas spread. So your little tiny mad idea that entered your mind, you entertained it, and then you spoke it, and you brought it into existence. No, I can't hear you, Jen. You got to come join the Zoom. But if you type, I can read it. So the tiny mind idea. 1 second, Donna. We'll get there. The tiny mad idea. You entertained it. You spoke it into reality. You've made it real. And because you've made it real, now you have to go and hold on, Jen. I'll put it on for you. You've spoke it into existence. You have to defend it because now you're like, I spoke separation. So now you defend it, you justify it, and then you make other people wrong about it, right? Because now we're blaming others. We're a victim to others now. And this is why there's so much work around victimhood, like taking your power back. But see, taking your power back, all that it serves step like number 8 or number 7, right? You can heal that part. But at the very top, it was the initial thinking that you entertained. That's why it needs to change in the mind first. About this idea, about separation could be real. Because the last step is that one tiny mad idea that you can somehow become separate totally enslaves you. And you become enslaved to the idea that I am separate from the rest of the colony, the rest of the world. If you want peace today, you must let others into your heart. You have to want peace for them. You have to pierce and see through anything that is not peace. They may not recognize it. You may have not recognized it a moment ago, but now on this call, you're recognizing it. You can heal it for them. You don't even need to be in their space. You can do it right now in your mind. Who are you holding grievances to? We got it. You know who it is. You're pissed off about your partner not doing something. You're upset that your kids are not as grateful, blah, blah, blah. All the same. It's just different forms of the same exact thing. If we heal from one, we can heal from all. So I'll pause right there. Go ahead, Donna.
Thanks, Alex. It's funny we're talking about adult temper tantrums because this week I had 2 good opportunities to express them, to exhibit them, and one actually happened. I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning today, just kind of crying because my husband and I drove 4.5 hours to visit an older relative of mine that's 92, and so I just wanted to spend time with her, and her daughters are just being really like, you shouldn't see her because my daughter's going to go tomorrow and she has to rest up. Like, what's a 92-year-old doing but resting? Anyway, so, I mean, I'm just like, I'm trying to take your lesson of like, we all have to have peace. But like they knew I was coming here. We did this whole planning thing, and now it's like stick in this book. So, how do you, get to that peace when you're already in it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I remember is to ask, because right now you have an idea. This is what you've made this event and this situation to be, right? Like, oh, here it is, them blocking me, whatever the stories may be of in the past, this is just reliving it again. All right, hold on. All right, Jen, I'm gonna bring you in. But you can ask for, ask for peace in your mind. Ask for, let me see it differently. How can I see it differently? And that you're willing to see it differently. Right? Because you're losing your peace because you want something that somebody else is seemingly blocking.
Yeah.
Right? I want to see her and spend time with her. But all of it at the end of the day is for you. We want to see people because it's really for us. We want to make sure we were there. Now, coming straight from peace, if she was like, hey, you shouldn't go see her today, she needs her energy and rest up tomorrow, I'll be like, okay, well, what time are you guys going to go see her tomorrow? Can I come before or after? Like there's always way to bring peace and negotiate it if our mind's at peace, right? Because they bring hostility, we think, we'll bring it right back. And we think it right back. And maybe it's not in the form of a fight. It might be like, I'm just going to cry. It's all, it's all still conflict. That I chose a loveless thought. So in that whole scenario, there are loveless thoughts that you're feeling, that they don't love me, they don't allow me. And, we become victims of those things, and we have to heal those, right? This is an opportunity to kind of go through this journey. I mean, you driving 4 hours, you think that your mission is to go see her, the 92-year-old, but we're all connected. The problem is that you think separation is real. If you can find peace, then the person that you're seeing will also be able to find peace because of that interconnected root system, the frequency that connects all of us. So how to get to peace in your mind, you have to ask for it. You have to truly ask for it in the moment. Do I want to be right about it? Do I want to keep crying, or do I want peace? And if I want peace, then I'm going to ask God or spirit to show me a different way. And then repeat right after that, I am willing to see it differently. Because what ends up happening is we say we want peace, and then we go, but I'm a victim to this, and but they're that, and they do this, and I can't help it because they're blocking it. Once you ask for peace, you got to say, I'm willing to look at it that way. I'm willing to look at it. And you follow up with it. So I would, for these tough scenarios, tough, I'm going to say tough because I'm not in your shoes. I can imagine what you're going through, but I'm not going through it. So this is going to be you calling forth your own guide, your own channel to the answer. I don't have an answer, but it's the calling to have my channel to source be clear so that downloads and answers can come and that you can hear it. I can't hear it for you. I can only remind you in which direction you can look.
So, is ignoring it in a way of peace, or not really?
Well, I don't know. Because is it going to bring you peace? Only you can answer that. If you can feel peace by ignoring it, then do so. But if you go back into the scenario and then you lose your peace again, then you're never ignoring it. You can't ignore it. What's on your mind is going to be real for you. You can't ignore it. You can't just be like, nope, I'm ignoring it. You have to actually find that what you are choosing to ignore, what is robbing you of your peace, you have made more value in being right about that than actually wanting peace.
Okay.
So we seek, remember today's goal, lesson 185, I want the peace of God, is I get to look in my mind all the places that I seeked for other things in which I placed on the altar above my connection to God, above the peace that I truly want and that I know everyone else wants. I can't have it unless I want it for everyone. So that's what I would say. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So my friend Jen is on. She couldn't get into the Zoom or something. She requested to be live on Instagram. So here she is. Hey, Jen. Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You want to see my new kitty cat? The ravioli replacement. So, it's good to see you. Miss you, friend. My experience I'm going through right now is it's repetitious, and what I find is when I'm acknowledged, what I'm feeling, my discomfort, my peace is immediate. It's this, and I hate to use such a trendy word right now, but this gaslighting, this being told like, no, you know, you said this or you didn't do that, or which is absolutely incorrect. And it happened again last night. And I find in my experience that as soon as I'm just given that truth, that I'm not making up what I'm seeing. I'm not blind. Instantly when it's acknowledged, I forgive. It's that and obviously I'm responsible for the consistency that this occurs.
Mm-hmm.
But why I try to find the peace, I try to find the acceptance, but being told that I'm not.
Alex, is something happening or?
Hold on. Yes, so she's asking something on Instagram. I will repeat it in a second. I'm trying to put it closer to the mic.
Should I speak louder?
No, you just go ahead.
Not really.
So it's basically that once I'm acknowledged for not being blind and stupid or making things up, I can instantly forgive. But it's when I'm being told that, no, you're incorrect or you lied or XYZ, I want to be peaceful. I want to forgive, but I'm not being acknowledged for being not even intelligent, just having eyes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like I have to find peace. Do I have to agree with their lie?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to just reiterate a little bit, Jen. Okay, so just what I'm hearing. So what I'm hearing is somebody is saying something and about your intentions, mistaking your intentions, right? Yeah. So here's the thing. Here is what the course says, that this is one of the first laws of chaos, is that somehow we want something different. Okay, so here it goes back to our theme. We feel threatened based on what they're saying about us, that we saw something, we didn't see something, you said this or you didn't say this, but I clearly know I didn't, right? There is a disconnection right there, and we all have that. We've all gone through, but you said this. Like, no, I didn't. I would never say that. Or you said you saw this and you agreed to this. I mean, this is one of the biggest conflicts in human, like in all of our history. Wars have started over this, these types of agreements, because we hear what we want to hear, right? I can say something, and because what you think you want to hear, you will hear it out of my mouth. You might not even hear what I'm saying. So everyone is actually right in their own ways. Okay. Now we feel like when they say we saw something or whatever, they're actually calling us a liar, right? It's not even about what they're saying anymore. I feel like they're calling me a liar. So for example, sometimes my wife and I love, she would I would say something and she would immediately attack me and goes, well, I feel like you're saying that and that means this to me. And she connects a whole bunch of other things that I'm like, what? Like, that is a very complicated, sophisticated translation of what I just said. You know, the only thing so for example, I said, hey, did you not see the text message that was sent? And she blew up saying, well, you know, I'm this and like I'm attacking her, but I'm not attacking her. All I'm doing is asking if she saw the text message, right? So she made up a whole bunch of other things. Wait, hold on. She made up a whole bunch of other things because there's insecurities and things inside her own mind. Like if I was like, Jen, if I, you know, we use this a lot. So if instead of saying you're a liar and you said this, you saw that, if I was like, Jen, that is an ugly red shirt that you got on, right? You know, you're not wearing a red shirt. You're wearing a white shirt. But if I was like, that's an ugly ass red shirt, you would be like, okay. And you wouldn't lose your shit over it. But if somebody's like, oh, you're a liar. See, now you make up this whole thing that there's, or if someone said, oh, you said this, but you're like, oh, I didn't. You make it like, oh, I'm a liar. You're calling me a liar. And instead of this whole neutral t-shirt thing, colors, it now ends up being an attack on an identity of you, which you have created an identity of yourself as I am Jen and I am this and I'm honest and all of that. So because you created all that, it's an idea of who we are. And this is why the Course says the idea of who you are is something that you need to let go of. Okay, so the idea, because the idea of who we are causes us to feel like we're being challenged by others. Okay, so if we want peace in that moment, right? Because you said you found peace when you truly came to like, oh no, I know I didn't say it, or I know I didn't, you know, when you're confident in what inside who you are. And the Course says that's the same feeling when you recognize that you are an innocent child of God. You're an extension of love. And that's all you are and all you can be. But in the moment when you want to be something else, what other people say will affect you. So that's the one piece of like that is peace for us when we truly recognize who we are. So go ahead. I know you want to say something else.
I agree with you, but it comes down to just blatant lies, right?
Mhm.
And like just like I can't accept the lie. Like I guess I could look at the person and say, okay, I forgive you, and that lie is in your head, and that's what I did last night, and I just left.
Yeah.
But in reality, if they just said, I meant it different, or you're not making things up, you're not irrational, you're not conspiring, instantly forgiven. So my point is like I want that peace, but I can't. I guess what I'm hearing you say is I have to just say, okay, that their lie is their own.
So first, forgiveness that the Course teaches is that I forgive you for what I thought you did that you did not do. Okay, so the fact that you are still being like, oh, I will find peace because I'm just going to say you're a liar. That creates, but that's a lie. Either way, you're saying that they are doing something and that's your stuff, right? Like you're delusional, whatever way that you think you're finding peace. But the reason why you're not finding peace is you've only temporarily made yourself feel better in that moment. True forgiveness is to recognize beyond what they said and beyond the lies. Because we opened up today with if you
So you just say to yourself like, okay, this is their shit, and I move on.
Yes, because there's something else. The reason why you wouldn't be able to move on is because there's something else you want in that relationship. You want something else to happen. What's the truth? I mean, so here's the thing. The law of chaos, okay, is that we think we want different truths.
Can I give you the example?
Sure. Give me the example.
I said, your son wants your attention. He turned it into, you called me a shitty dad.
Ah, exactly. So
I know, I said, your son wants your attention. He's acting out. Because you're a great father, and he wants your attention. He's not getting it.
Got it.
And he goes on and on and on. Well, you called me a piece of shit dad. Then it goes on. Then it gets embellished, right? You called me blah, 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 XYZ dad, and on and on. And I'm like, no, I just said your son wants your attention.
Yeah. So look, this is the same scenario everyone goes through. When you say something, it's what I just shared earlier. When I say something, he or she takes it a different way. And then here's other things that you're saying. You're saying your son wants your attention. Because basically that's like an attack. You're trying to correct somebody's behavior. And that's the piece that we need to have is like, it isn't up to us. And I don't know if the son wants the attention. Just because somebody's acting out does not mean they want your attention. Sometimes yes, but sometimes no. Sometimes they're just acting out because they're acting out. Well, you should go back and be like, hey, tell your dad that, right? From you. If you go and relay that message, you're interfering, and this is why the Course says that one of the highest levels of practice is I need to do nothing. I don't need to do anything here. But me going to interrupt, I just joined into a conflict, into a drama. The way that I have peace is, oh, you want your dad's attention? Okay, cool. Go ask for it. Right? It's everything is neutral. You neutralize everything. But when you play into it, you're like, oh yeah, you need your dad. Okay, I validate that you need your dad's attention. Now I'm going to go over here, tell your dad. Now the dad's going to think you're telling him that he's a bad father. Just like how sometimes my wife's like, oh, Harley, our dog, needs more of your attention and more affection. She rather go to the doggy day park and play with other dogs or run around the fence than just laying around doing nothing. Okay, so now you're in Harley's head then, right? So, right, and now I'm like, okay, well, you're saying I'm a shitty dog owner when I love this dog so much. See, like there is a conflict that happens there, but we have to be willing to look beyond what they're saying. This person who you said your kid wants your attention, he feels like he's been attacked and says this and that. What you have to do is you have to filter that attack on you into a call for love. You can see that there's a wound that was pressed. You pressed it.
Oh yeah, no, I opened up a big.
Right. So take ownership of it first instead of focusing on becoming the victim of what they're saying to you now. Right. This is the back and forth that happens. We have to be willing to just walk off the battlefield. Right now, you either have a sword in your hand ready to attack back, or you have a shield to defend what happened. If you truly want peace, you will be willing to lay both of those things down and say, I don't want to be right about it. I don't want to be right about if you call me a liar or this or that, or what I said, what you said. I don't want that. I don't want to be right about it. It doesn't matter who's right. We're not trying to find the bad guy here. We're trying to find peace. And this is perfect for today's lesson, which is that whatever that whole scenario is, everything in that scenario is tons of lessons of what you value over peace. True peace, you're valuing, I don't want to be called a liar. Okay. I'm valuing the identity that I created as Jen. I didn't say that you're a bad father. Okay. But you took it that way. So now you're going back and forth, it never end. He's not going to hear what you're going to say anyways. You're not going to hear what he's going to say. And so if you truly want peace, you got to lay both down. So just recognize what's a sword and what's a shield and put them both down.
I wanted to ask something because
Okay.
this week I had like a situation that kind of was triggering, and I brought myself back. But the last couple of years, there's been like a really tough situation with my family, which has divided us, and like we're not able to spend holidays with my parents because it's a situation with my dad, but my mom is still with my dad, and then all of this has been happening the last couple of years, which has been stressful and for me sad because I feel like, I mean, I'm super close with my mom, close with, my sisters, and we're really united. But then with my dad, we've had this situation and we disconnected from him for a while. I've been developing a relationship with him again. But then this week, my sister has started letting him see the kids again, like his grandkids and all of that, and my brother-in-law. And this week, he had a confrontation with my brother-in-law and my sister, said a lot of nasty things or whatever. And my sister came crying to me, and I lost my peace for that minute. And I was about to go to war with him, as I've done since I was a child, because I've been the protector and, for my sisters and my mom since I was a child. And I was ready to go to war with him, literally. And then I said, you know what? Like, he's where he's at. Like, he's, and I just tried to look at it from a place of love and compassion. But then it hurts me a lot because I'm like, we were doing so good, like we were getting somewhere, and he comes in and just throws this monkey wrench in and messes everything up for everybody because now he can't see his grandkids again. My mom is super sad, and that makes me sad. And it's like, I don't know how to keep my peace sometimes with that because I feel like I'm so close to my family, and like, I don't know why he just had to go and do that.
Yeah, and see all the problems that we are sharing and anyone else that's hearing, like we all have a problem like this. And it's all different forms of the same problem. And the same problem is that there is somehow a separated, and the analogy we've been using, the metaphor we've been using today was just with the mushroom and the colony. There is a separate colony that wants something different, separate mushroom, right? So in this scenario, it's your dad, but everybody, it's always an invitation, right? We always want to invite people back to the colony, to the tribe. And we all have this. I mean, when my dad and my mom split, I didn't see my dad for 8 years. 8 years. Okay? And then when we reconnected because he felt, well, he was trying to see us, and we weren't like allowed to see him, and we didn't go see him. We were like, okay, this is messed up. I was really sad because my dad was like my hero growing up when I was, all the way up to like 8. But then all this story happened, and I got all this stuff crammed into my mind. Right. And so we just, okay, we don't see him. And we're halfway around the world. We don't get to see him. And finally, when we came back together, see, it's the recognition that we both longed for love. All of us want that. We all want peace. We all want from love. People want to be seen and want to be heard. Okay, so if you want to be seen and you want to be heard, you have to do everything in your power to see what they're saying, where they're coming from. Yeah, they want to be heard, they want to be seen, they want to be understood. Okay, so nobody intends. See, this is today's lesson: is no one intends to create grievance for themselves. Because he did, your dad did, and this other dad, Jen, your buddy or your friend or whoever also did, right? You guys are everyone's trying to establish themselves as the hero in their journey, but they don't know how to do it because you've created so much drama in your life that the automatic of creating drama comes back in. And so for us, if the way we diffuse the situation is we must pierce through what we think we're seeing. We do the work. Hey, like this happened, and okay, but I want peace more than I want to find you as the bad guy. I want peace more than I want to be right about this situation. That means it's a every moment practice for you. This is your teaching. This is your curriculum. This is your classroom. There's a classroom set for you right now. For you, Jen, it's this guy and his son. And then for you, Barbara, it's your dad and your family. Like there's a classroom. That's all it is. It's your classroom to do you, because you're going to lose your peace over and over and over again. But you're in the classroom right now of getting an A in having peace. So this is the curriculum. It's like I think about it in terms of like video games. Hold on. No, just feel like all you have to say is, I can see the way I said this, you took it as that. And that's it. And be like, I see what you're seeing. Okay. I understand where you're coming from. And, that's not what I mean at all. You don't need to justify or defend it. You just say, like, because people will get triggered. You can say, oh my God, you're a great dad over and over and over again. But if I have a wound that is, I'm not a great dad, right? Because certain things have happened. The second you say anything that remotely dances around it, it turns to war. They can't hear all the good things you're saying. This is what the training has also taught us, is that no matter how much love that people show you, if you are incapable of feeling it or seeing it, you're not going to feel it or see it. It's up to you to choose. I want peace. I want love. I want peace. I'm not going to come in and say, but I'm always saying you're a great dad. He doesn't want to hear that because he doesn't believe it himself. Maybe. I don't know. We all don't believe this facade that we've created for ourselves. That's why we have to constantly cover it. We have to constantly defend it. And the world is always a threat, because the world's always trying to tell us we're something else. And that's the problem here, right? That's the problem. It isn't about him. It isn't about you. But we can all go to him and be like, I see why this happened, and if I can't see it, I want to see it, right? People just want to know that you're going to be on their side. They don't need you to tell them anything, because they can't hear what you're saying anyways. There's a filter. They just gotta, if you can choose to see their filter, and I understand your filter, and I'll love it no matter what, you give them permission to put the filter away. They have to do it themselves. You can't do it for them. No matter how you try to rectify a situation, you will never be able to do it for somebody, but you can. Love encompasses and heals all. This is what that means. It means I must love you for where you're at, no matter what. And then that's going to give them the safety and the permission to feel like they can let the guard down. And then when they do, love creates this new connection that will have respect and trust, and all of that happen. See, the only reason why these things are happening, the fights and stuff is happening, is because of a lack of trust in the relationship. I don't trust that you will see me for being a good grandfather, right? And maybe in your mind, you're like, I don't trust you to be a good grandfather or a good dad or whatever. See, you are also projecting the same energy. And anything he does, that's what you will see too. Right? So we use other people as mirrors to show us how we do us. This is the inner independence that we're really working on today. Is it's me. It's all been inside me. The world outside does not need to change. It will change as the inside world changes. Everything is inner job. So yeah, Antoine, go ahead. I know you had your hand up a couple times.
Your timing is perfect. I was about my questions and comments was going to be about change your inner self first, and the outside will take care of itself. So there was something I picked up in a book recently. I can't remember exactly. I think it's Think and Grow Rich. But as long as your inner voice does not align with everything you say or do, you will have a problem. And basically, let's say, for instance, your whole life, your parents said, "Hey, you're gonna be a doctor, a dentist," but inside of you, you want to be a soccer player, right? So there's this conflict with your inner voice not agreeing, or I want to be a syndicator, or I want a red BMW, but your favorite color is blue. So there may be the things that we've lost about. We think we want these things, but as long as the inner voice does not agree, there's a problem. So in to this context, a lot of the topics, I think I heard a lot of, they called me a liar, or I want to forgive this person, but inside the inner voice is still holding on to, I can't believe they called me a liar. So until the concept was until your inner voice agrees, your spirit, your soul, whatever you want to call it, agrees with what you are really trying to manifest, there's a problem. And so that's kind of what I was reminded of, and I was wondering if you can comment on this. I think you actually referenced to it earlier as well, but does the Course of Miracle talk a little bit about the importance and the power of that inner voice that we are?
Yeah. There's only two voices. One is of the Holy Spirit and one is of the ego. There's only two voices. Now, the way that the Course demonstrates it is if you go to a symphony or you go to a concert, right? It's beautiful music. It's all happening. That beautiful symphony music is playing all around. It's love. That's love happening only. Now, what we do, which we do, this actually shows up in the world, is on a date, wherever we go, what do? We pull out our phone and we start scrolling nonsense, right? We start scrolling things all the time. It's the same thing as what the Course says is we put headphones on and we start blasting heavy music, and that's the ego. The ego is super loud, super chaotic, but once you move the headphones out, you will hear what's the music of love that is in the world. All right, hold on 1 second. Now that we have that, I'm actually writing down every time we have our calls, every metaphor that we're using. I'm writing it down real quick. Okay. Yes. Well, we're using it together. We're all in this co-creating. It wouldn't just come up out of nowhere. This whole mushroom thing would. Oh wait, I gotta write that down. Mushroom. So, we what we project out into the world, like everything that we see, that's the voice. There's a voice that tells us, okay, everything's either love or is a call for love. And the other voice says, it's dangerous out there. Don't go out there without your sword, without your shield. Have those things ready. The fact that you would even bring those things out there causes you to actually use it. They carry guns. People that carry guns are more likely to get into gun altercations. That's because why are you carrying a gun? Because you think the world is unsafe. You will see things to justify all the time why you're carrying a gun. Because you have to. Everything that we do, we justify it. So we go out, we leave our house, we're like, the world's not safe. Better have my gun with me. That means you are looking, without you knowing it, you are seeing and looking at that. You're listening to the voice that the world is unsafe. And of course, you will find all the people and all the things out to get you. Whether you pull your gun out or not, you're looking for reasons to say, I'm justified in carrying my gun. And you make it real. You will make it real. We will see it in the news. We will see it in TikTok and Instagram. We will see it in relationships throughout the day. Maybe we don't have to pull out a gun, but we will see them as an attack on us. See, all of it plays in that realm. For me, I'm like, I choose to want to see love every single day. And, I I've come to terms with the reason why I even have guns in my house is because it's cool. That's it. And it's better. It's better for my thinking. I don't need to think that the world is dangerous and that I need a gun to protect myself. I just think guns are cool. That's it. It took me a while because apparently thinking gun is, I had a story that thinking guns are cool is not like, it's not really okay. You got to actually have a reason to have a gun. I mean, I just grew up playing shooting games and stuff, so guns are cool. Now, one day, if there's a zombie apocalypse or something, of course, I will know how to use a gun. But the world is not. And we can use it to shoot clay pigeons. I don't even know how I got there. Oh, the voices. So again, we can see which voice, because sometimes the problem is we don't actually know. We lie to ourselves. We are unwilling to see the voice that we listen to. Now, all you. Jen says, not her. I'm no liar, but we all are. Let's not say liar. We're just not honest. We're not honestly looking at everything, right? Because we have stories around it all. And, we just look at our results. Our results will point to us what we were committed to. Our results don't show us who we are, right? That's one problem, is most of the times our results, we attach it to who we are as a person. Our results only show us and reveal to us the commitment in which we've made, which is, did I listen to the ego or did I listen to the Holy Spirit? It's a very neutral thing. Now, if you take that and you attach to everything else in your life, then you've allowed that to kind of spread. But our results point only to the commitment in which we chose, and then we can choose differently now. Our results do not reveal who we are as human beings, because who we are can never change no matter what. We are always an extension of God. We are always love. That's all we can be, even though we may not see it in the moment. Even though we may have covered it with being right, with being in control, all that stuff. So our results really just reveal our commitment, period. And then you can change it. Projection makes perception. Things that happen, if I create a chaos, it means that somehow I am not being loved. That is it. Somehow I've allowed a loveless thought to enter my mind, and I operate it from there. That's why a loveless result happened. It does not mean that I am I am a loveless person. It just means I chose something differently, and that gives me power because I can choose again. And everything in our life, the reason why you're in a classroom is because you have not yet graduated from this classroom. You have not yet chosen something different. You keep choosing the same thing. That's why it shows up. That's why we're in relationships and the same things keep happening over and over again. Just different people, different mirrors in front of us, but the same shit. We are all part of that. We're all together. We're all there. Right? It's like, man, how much can I possibly be in this pattern over and over again? It's because we keep staying with the same righteousness. And we keep causing the same problem. And that healing, Barbara and Jen, the healing that you guys are speaking into, that if you healed that with this person, okay, truly, like, I don't want anything. I don't want to be right or anything. I just want to experience love for myself. And the way that you experience it through yourself is you open the door to your heart to others.
So that's what I'm gonna do when I hang up this phone. I'm gonna call him.
Yeah. You guys speak same time. Go ahead.
I'm gonna try to paint a black or white picture here, which I usually don't. So if the inner voice is either the Holy Spirit or the ego, and we're all spiritual beings in a body, it sounds to me like, in the the world that we are in, as we experience these negative things with people that we don't like, is that because we allow the ego to play a role in that, as opposed to um, being the bigger person or aligning more with the Holy Spirit or your spiritual person to see above the issues of the world.
Yeah. So here is how you know the ego is showing up. The ego is showing up when it tells you that you are the judge. How can we even, what is negative? What is a person that I don't like? It requires judgment of action. It requires judgments of the things that come out of their mouth. Right? It requires judgment. You are not capable of judging. See, that's the thing the Course says. You know you're in the ego if you think you're the judge. You just moved God over from the throne and said, I will be the judge. I know what's good for me. I know what's good for them. See, one of the earlier lessons in the Course is I don't perceive my own best interest. You think you do, but you don't. Because if you did, then you would not have conflicts right now. But you've pursued all these things that you think is good for you, and you're still conflicting and fighting and crying and all of that. Because we don't. Now, if we're not capable of judging and we give it over to God, this is the practice. The giving it over to God opens that channel for answers to come, for guidance to come. But every time we decide to play God and we sit on the throne, right? This is what the Course says. The ego has a authority problem. And it shows up in our life. We got authority problems. We don't want nobody to tell us what to do. Jen gave me the middle finger. We all got it. It's fine. Right? But first, it's the practice of every time that I judge something and someone as good or bad or negative or positive, this is the moment. This is the moment for me that I can give it over to God. I can clear that channel. Thank you. First thank this person. You get into a place of gratitude. Thank you so much. Now let me give this issue that I have over to God. And here, okay, I've cleared the channel. Am I getting some downloads? I'm clearing the channel to the oneness, to the one frequency, to God, to Spirit, so that the clarity can come through. Without clarity, we're constantly in chaos. Right? So seek not for an answer. A lot of people come onto the calls and call me and ask for an answer. I don't have an answer. I can only point you to the direction, and that direction is clear the channel for yourself. Each one of us have been assigned a role that only we can fill. We've been assigned people in our lives that only we can touch. We have the ability to touch their hearts. And then you know how we know? Because we create conflict with them. We get triggered by them. They get triggered by us. We are teachers. Right? And then there's also the people that you just are feeling like, I vibe to this person. I want to listen to more. Marianne Williamson, no matter what she does, I will see her as like love, as an inspiration and aspiration. Even if she did something completely out of character, I don't think there's anything that she could possibly do that would change my mind about her, because I've seen the spiritual essence of her, and I can't unsee it. Even if she went and started slaughtering puppies, I think I would still see that there is just a choice that she made, right? Like that listened to the ego, that listened to chaos and conflict. I mean, I don't think that would ever happen, but even if it did, I would be able to see past that, because my capacity of love and understanding grew so much learning from her, learning from Dave Hoffmeister, learning from Ken Wapnick, learning from A Course in Miracles, that no matter what people do, I have an ability to cut through it now, cut through the actions and the words. And so, for me, it's been a practice But see, that practice is only for me. It's not for anybody else. I don't need anyone else to change their behaviors or change what they're doing, change what they love or don't love. But I'm just grateful that I had the opportunity to use them as a mirror to see myself. So, yeah, hopefully that supports. Anyone else want to chime in? We got about 10 more minutes on this Inner Independence Day. I could also read something. Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question regarding, the thought that come up for me when we were talking in the beginning of the call regarding the like generational stuff. There's some stuff that, according to some like practices and some therapy or some like whatever, there's a lot of tools today, to heal generational traumas and stuff like that. So my question is, from the perspective of the Course in Miracles, like how does it look at that? Because okay, we're doing the healing, supposedly we're learning in this life to remember that separation is not real and all of the stuff that we're talking here about. But like, how about generational traumas that comes before us that make us act this way? So I'm assuming by healing those things, we're healing that for them, or there's no need to heal it for them. Like, I just wonder
who's them? That's the thing. Who's them?
Well, the people who came before us, who like the body and flesh and thoughts and programs that we have that we carry in our DNA from the past.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if you believe that, then you believe that. Here's the thing. There is no them and you. They're playing a specific role to show you something that you get to heal about yourself. There is only you. There's only one mind. There's only one life. So it doesn't matter what the generational traumas. I mean, people that work with that, the more you try to work with it, the more you made it real. At some point, see, the reason why you even work with it is to get yourself so deep into it until you're finally like, I'm gonna ready to let the whole thing go. The more you're like, oh, I gotta forgive this thing or this generational thing that's been getting me. All it does is make it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger for you. It's not making, but at some point, see, the Course says the beauty of why everyone will wake up is because you're always going to push some idea and make it bigger and bigger until you get to a point where you're like, I've had enough. I'm ready to let it go. There must be another way. So either you say, I want to see it differently or whatever. You're either going to choose it. See, the mantra that we do, you're either going to choose it on a daily basis, or it's going to come crashing and smashing down to the ground. And you're going to be like, I don't want it anymore. You're either going to be forced into it by yourself, or you're going to have a willingness for it. But either way, you're going to come to the end of the road and be like, yeah, there must be a better way to this. No matter how many cars and how many houses and how much money I have, at some point it's like, all right, what's the point? Right? How many relationships we've just keep going into and just keep doing the same thing over and over and over and keep saying that, oh, it's them, it's this person, it's that person. And we just gather evidence of all this fucked up bad relationships until at some point we're like, it must be me. Yeah. You can either choose that now and start practicing it, or you can have it hit you in the face and you finally say, oh my God, it's me. Why am I choosing it? And then you step into your power. It's okay. We that's why it's not up to us to teach anybody anything. We can share. We can share, and in sharing we teach. But we have to we look at it like, oh, it's always a feedback for myself. Everything that's happening in the world is a feedback on yourself. Not about who you are, but about your commitments. Who are you? What and who are you committed to? Yeah. You are the common denominator. In all of your problems, everything that's ever happened that's a problem in your life, what's the common denominator? That's a good one, Brooke. Antoine, you wanted to say a couple more things or share some more?
Yeah, sure. I just wanted to share a personal note on this one. So, I'm originally from Africa. I grew up in an environment where, people believe in curses and all this, witchcraft and things like that. And the blessing that I've had in the last few months joining calls like this is that in the past, I would even go as far as blaming my parents for certain things that are happening to me now. So, for instance, I was getting the first time I learned about paradigms. So Bob Proctor does a good job about our conscious mind. We have our five senses. So we grow up in an environment where, let's say, your parents always insulted you, said you would never be good at anything, blah blah blah. You believe these things that are stored in your subconscious mind, and they are paradigms, and they affect the results of your daily life. And as I became aware of the concept of paradigms, I'm like, wait a minute. So I do these things today that I probably learned from my parents. And I used to blame my parents, but if I think about it, they probably got it from their parents. And then they got it from their grandparents. And so when I think back in time now, I'm like, wow, this paradigm might have been in my family for the 5 generations, right? And here I am today on Alex's call, and I have a chance. First of all, I just became aware and I recognized it. And I may be the first one in my lineage to break that, if you want to call it curse, break it, right? I was having this conversation with my son, and I was explaining it to him, and I used the DNA analogy too, because you mentioned that, and that triggered me because we are. So some of us have the same nose that our grandparents had 100 years ago. Um, some pictures of us today might look exactly like somebody else in the past, right? And so yes, these things carry over time, including the behaviors, right? And so I just wanted to say that, all of us on the call, becoming aware of these, paradigms that are passed down, whatever you want to call it, behaviors, things that have been stored in us time over time, right? As we now have the choice, like Alex was saying, we have a choice to choose whether to continue to behave like this. It's a very powerful moment right now to recognize that there are things in my, that makes me today that I can recognize to not continue to do because this has been in my family for a long time. And so to make it short, now I see my mother, I see my father, my grandparents. I don't judge them anymore. I'm like, okay, I don't, because they could have gotten it from their parents. So why should I judge them? So that's kind of how these are my perceptions that I have of late.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's good that you just called it a perception as well. It's all a perception, right? Because here's the truth of it. The truth of it is that we are all given a piece of the garden. And you and all of your lineage and everyone that's affected in your family and your tribe, this is the garden you tend to. You're either resisting the garden or you're saying this is what we're doing. And all the gardens teach you the same thing, is to be love and returning to one. And that you are a part of a whole. We're either saying, yes, this is our job, our work here, or we go and we resist it and we fight it and we talk about and we worry about things that don't even matter. Which is like, oh, how did my dad do this? How did his dad do this? Right? Yes, it's a lesson it could teach us, but ultimately it brings us back to, dude, your duty and your responsibility is to tend your loving garden and contribute to the whole and remember that you're part of it and that we're all safe together. No matter what kind of trauma you possibly had, it all returns to that. It all returns to here is your piece of the garden. And of course, Marion Williamson has a part in the book, right? That 218. So if you have a year of miracles, day 218, this speaks directly into that. God has assigned me a function that only I can fill. All the stories, all the things that you're going through, it's been assigned to you, and you are the only one that can fill it. Each of us have a unique part to play in the healing of the world. Each of us is assigned by God a function that only we can fill. At the level of our divine function, none of us are in competition with each other, for the universe is infinitely abundant. My good doesn't take away from anyone else's, and no one else's good takes away from mine. There is a space for everyone's gifts to flower. There is more than enough room for all of us. I embrace the assignment revealed to me when I open my heart to love. As I seek to live as God would have me live, He will reveal to me what I would have me do. He will prepare me in all the ways I need to carry out the role He would have me play. I need to relax into His presence within me, and all shall unfold in divine right order. Amen. Relaxing into it. Like we are so tense and we want things to happen now. You have a specific role, and as you prepare yourself, as you relax into the presence of holiness in you, you will be shown what to do. And we can look at the world and see, oh my God, if I did this, and especially in the space that I'm in, where everybody is doing Zooms and everybody's trying to get investors in the same pool. It's so funny. You know, there's a part of us that's like, that sees that we want to all be in contribution, like we want to. And then there's a part that's like, ooh, it's a competition. If he invests with them, then he's not going to have money to invest with us. And it's a competition to find investors. So we got to always come to there is enough in the world. There's always enough. And you relax into the divine presence that's in you. Yeah, we all have a flower to nurture. Okay. So that brings us to the end of the 4th of July weekend call. Happy Inner Independence Day. Remember, a practice today would be to put your alarm, and I'm going to do this as well, is I'm going to set it for every hour. And every hour when it rings, I'm going to say, thank you for all the gifts of the past hour, and please guide me for the next hour. This is the practice of opening that channel. All right. So much blessings to you all, and we will see you on Wednesday. Talk soon, everybody. Bye.
Thank you.